Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of KJ's What Happened, where we look back on the week and I share some little tidbits I found. A lot of these stories we don't find on the mainstream news, so it can be kind of fun if you let yourself have some fun with it, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's been a while. It's been a week. But it's good to be back as always, man. I've got some great ones to share here. Every week I got a couple stories that are my favorites, and I never tell you guys what they are. And just because I want you to have your own favorites, and not to kind of poison the well in any kind of a way or anything. I don't know if that's a right expression. Not trying to veer you in any different direction. I want you to just have your own experience. Anyway, I'm rambling early. So anyway, these become my favorites because a lot of times they wind up coming up in videos I do in the future. I'm like creating videos as I do these shows, as these are all the bits I pick throughout the week. And then I just start connecting things. It's how my head works. So every week I'll find things. I'll be like, oh, okay, that goes there and that connects with this. And, so I got a couple this week too. I got a really, really good one this week. I'll probably just tell you what it is when we get there. I'll let you know. But it's a good one, and it's a confirmation, even of something I just put in my last video I put up on the YouTube channel. So that's always kind of cool to see. Anyway, otherwise, thanks for being here. Hope you had a wonderful week. And, without waiting any longer, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Some of you may have seen this one. Bad news for astronauts. Uranus smells like rotten eggs. And, that's just like one of the oldest jokes in the book, right? How many of us have heard that joke about Uranus, and the connection with anus? We get it. We understand, right? But isn't it interesting that now this story comes out where it does smell like rotten eggs, apparently? Real news, fake news, who knows anymore, right? But the story is out there. So let's see what it says here. All right, let's see. Somebody says, I'm trying to see who wrote this. It's from a scientist or something. Here we go. There's a new study co-authored by astronomer Patrick Irwin of England's Oxford University, published this week in Nature Astronomy. The study explains how Irwin and his colleagues used the near-infrared integral field spectrometer on the Gemini North Telescope in Hawaii to, quote, sniff what Uranus is cooking. Hey, another one. We get it. We understand. And what it's cooking is rotten eggs and worse, according to the readings. We strongly suspected that hydrogen sulfide gas was influencing the millimeter spectrum of Uranus for some time, but we were unable to attribute the absorption needed to it uniquely. Now that part of the puzzle is falling into place as well. Okay. Anyway, we get it. We don't need to hear all this fancy science about this. I guess it's really all about the headline. Uranus smells like rotten eggs. One of the oldest jokes in the book, right? Oldest jokes in the book. But turns out, so when I see stuff like this, though, just the way I read this and, the way my head works, just another example of reality flipping upside down, just crazy stuff. More mystery booms. This week, the booms continued in America's Northeast, being heard in rural Pennsylvania and New Hampshire. In Richland Township, Pennsylvania, residents in several towns were left confused after loud booms were reported multiple nights around 2 a.m., waking up residents and leaving a mystery in their wake. It is quite loud, says Donna Weaver of Quakertown. It went boom, boom. That's what it sounds like to me, and that sounds like an explosion. You're absolutely right, Donna. Explosions do go boom, boom. Weaver told local news that without an official explanation, residents are left to guess wildly as to what the source of the booms might be. Nobody can figure out what it is. Some people were saying maybe they think it's kids throwing M80s or cherry bombs. Others are saying aliens. Well, that's a really big difference between the two, huh? It's a lot of leeway they gave us between those two. Others always say aliens. A little farther north, residents of Plaistow, New Hampshire, were awakened early in the morning hours of Monday, April 23rd, when a mysterious loud noise woke them up. Plaistow resident Joseph Pegu says he heard a sound louder than fireworks and feared the worst, but upon heading in the direction of the sound, found nothing. Police responded to several concerned calls about the sound, but discovered nothing. Fire crews were called when a small brush fire was found in the vicinity of many of the mystery boom reports, but it's unclear if the fire and the noise were related. A similar incident occurred today in Bellingham, Washington, where a large boom was heard throughout several surrounding cities. Like a New Hampshire incident, smoke from a small fire was seen afterwards, although a local fire department spokesperson said this was likely from a nearby permitted brush burn. But anyway, yeah, more mysterious booms. What could they be? More examples of reality being rocked. Some say they're something to do with, I don't know, ice somehow. It's creating that noise. Perhaps underground bunkers. There's also a lot of very interesting theories. There's some fun research for you about a war taking place right now in the underground bunkers, because there are real underground bunkers all over the place, specifically in places like Washington, and there's one underneath Denver International Airport and other places like this. And many of us believe that the so-called elite will try to escape to their bunkers, once everything really starts getting crazy. So, perhaps it has something to do with that. I don't know. There's mysterious booms, there's mysterious trumpet sounds, and those are still happening. Massive animal die-offs, but nothing to see here, folks, right? Nothing weird going on here at all. And this was just kind of a cool one. Mysterious Siberian humanoid statue is older than the pyramids. Recent archaeological discoveries suggest that Siberia was once the home of a possibly highly developed Ice Age civilization. Relics ranging from massive unexplained megaliths to mysterious walled structures have been found, suggesting that these people were capable of significant architectural feats. While it has been known that there were tribes of people living in the area during the Ice and Stone Ages, these new discoveries suggest that these civilizations were more advanced than previously thought. Now, a new analysis of a creepy humanoid statue found on the Ural Mountains has been dated to even before the pyramids. So is there a lost chapter of human history waiting to be unearthed in Eurasia and Siberia? And that's one of the humanoid statue pictures. I wish I could blow that up somehow for you. Here's some more. Tall beings. So, of course, I'm thinking the Nephilim. So that's what I was interested in when I found this story. Just more proof of the Nephilim, the giants, the breed of the fallen. Let's see what else we got here. Hundreds of pig brains kept alive without bodies. The MIT Technology Review reports that Yale neuroscientist Nenad Seston revealed at a March meeting at the National Institutes of Health that he and his research team obtained up to 200 pigs from a slaughterhouse, cut off their heads, and then restored circulation to their brains using a technique with a ready-for-market name, BrainX, that involves pumps, heaters, and artificial blood. If you're thinking, what were they thinking, and you're referring to the pigs, the answer is probably nothing. I didn't write that, folks. It's in the article. As Seston reports that EEG scans of the brains showed zero brain activity. It's crazy. Steve Hyman, director of psychiatric research at the Broad Institute in Cambridge, Massachusetts, was at the meeting and said that in response to the revelation by Seston that billions of individual cells in the brains may not have been thinking, but were otherwise alive, healthy, and capable of doing everything except thinking, according to Seston. That's really interesting. That animal brain is not aware of anything. I am very confident of that. This is not rocket science. The technique is similar to those used to keep other lesser organs alive prior to transplants. And as Seston revealed in his presentation, it can be done on primates and humans. Of course it can, because when I see these stories, that's always what I'm waiting for. How are they going to get humans to start doing this stuff? How are they going to start doing this stuff to humans? Hundreds of pig brains kept alive without their bodies. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. This is a really crazy one, too. 9 school children were stabbed to death and 12 injured after bullied ex-pupil launched massacre. Now, here's the catch. The bully, the 28-year-old former student, was reportedly seeking revenge for having been bullied at the school in this province. 28 years old. So the guy waited, around 10 years to go exact his revenge on bullies by hurting all these children with a knife. I mean, something's not right here. I don't know what it is. The knife rampage was allegedly carried out by a former pupil seeking revenge. Okay. According to the local government, 10 other people have been hospitalized with injuries resulting from the massacre outside the No. 3 middle school. The attack took place as the students were heading home for the day. Cops arrested a 28-year-old suspect named only as Zao, I'm not sure how to say that, who was a former student. He was seeking revenge for being bullied at the school, according to the local government's official microblog. And that's him. It's a blurry picture, but that's the guy. It's him. China has strict gun control laws, making knives and homemade explosives most common weapons in violent crimes. And that's a big part of the story here, too. You can take the guns away, but you're still going to have people doing stuff like this. I mean, some people are just going to kill, unfortunately, and that's the way it is. And they'll find a way, one way or another. They'll find a way. Many schools have beefed up security at access points following violence against students and family members. In 2010, nearly 20 children were killed in knife attacks outside school gates, raising questions over the medical system's ability to diagnose and treat mental illness. In June last year, a 22-year-old man made the bomb that exploded at the front gate of a kindergarten in eastern China, killing 8 people, including himself. So they found another way to kill. They always do. They always do. I just thought this was kind of interesting. Furious campaigners slam sick YouTube guides on how to perform dangerous home abortions and DIY operations. I'm pretty sure they'll be monetized. I'm pretty sure that would be monetized. They are among scores of disturbing clips found by a Sun investigation, including graphic DIY circumcisions and cyst removals and erasing tattoos using grinders. Gross. One abortion guide even instructs viewers on actions they can take during the final months of pregnancy. Experts blasted the grim advice and warned women to get proper help. Imogen Stevens, medical director at safe abortion organization Mary Stopes UK, said it was worrying that girls may turn to quack abortion clips. She added, YouTube giving them a platform is not helpful. So, I'm sure this is one of those things that'll probably be used. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. But it also seems like it's one of those, hit pieces on YouTube as a platform in general. There's another YouTube story coming up in a little bit I want to show you. Because as crazy as YouTube's become, and it's really become such a horrible place in a lot of ways, it's still the best website of its kind out there as far as what it offers you is live shows like this. This is great, man. I mean, they do some stuff really right. But then obviously they do tons really wrong, especially regarding anybody who's thinking outside the mainstream narrative. And we've seen that major attack taking place, and a lot of great channels have gone now, and they're still disappearing. There's every now and then, every week, I feel like I'm finding a new channel that I don't see anymore, and I'll go try to find them, and there they go. They got taken down. So it is, it's happening. This is what they've been doing, and as I always say, people have asked, how I'm doing, how the channel is and stuff. And all I can do is pray about it. Like I'm, that's where I'm at with this stuff and have been for a long time. I mean, I've shown y'all so many things about YouTube. I showed an interview with one of these trusted flaggers on one of these shows one time. And it was horrifying. There's no offense to the kid. She's probably like 18, 19. Every other word's yeah, okay, sure, and I mean, but she's got the keys to the kingdom of all these YouTube channels. She's one of these people who had the power to take down your channel. So, that's just one example. So when I see stuff like that, it's like, I mean, what can I do? What can any YouTube creator do? I mean, stay within the guidelines, of course, but other than that, it's just, to me, it's just praying, man. It's just saying, God, please protect the channel. Thanks for protecting it so long, and all that. That's kind of where I'm at with it. But so, the system itself definitely keeps coming after YouTube in general, just because, tons of videos get uploaded to YouTube every day, and there's new people waking up every day to the stuff that a lot of us already know. And we forget there's still a lot of people who are still little babies in this, and they're just now waking up. And a lot of those people are going to start wanting to make videos. A lot of them are going to start building audiences. I mean, it's just going to keep coming. That's what's going to happen. So I feel that's why the system continually does this stuff against YouTube, to try to find, well, then YouTube, cowers down to it immediately. So they're probably all working in unison anyway, really. It's like, you put the story out and then we'll go ahead and instigate this policy we've been sitting on for, 2 months. I mean, I don't know, very well could be. So anyway, that's why I say with things like this, things of the world, things that I have no physical control over, you pray about it. That's all you can do. You pray about it. So anyway, there's that story. Wow, have you heard about this? Russia's floating nuclear plant heads out to sea. Russia creates a floating nuclear plant. What could go wrong? This is going to be great. I don't know. That just seems really pretty, I don't know. It just seems like a bad idea to me. A nuclear plant out to sea. The seas are very dangerous. I worked on the seas. I worked in the Bering Sea for 2 years, my first 2 years in the Coast Guard, on a 180-foot boat. Old boat, too. It'd been a salvage tender in Vietnam. So it was on an old boat. I saw 40-foot seas with my real eyeballs in real life. And that's some really horrifying stuff, out there. I mean, the seas can be just really scary, And to think they're going to put a nuclear plant out to sea, the sea can get really crazy, really rocky. There's lots of storms. I don't know, Is there more to this story that I'm not seeing? I'm not sure. But I just thought that was weird. Controversial floating nuclear power plant made by Russia has headed out for its first sea voyage. The floating plant was towed out of the St. Petersburg shipyard, where it was constructed on Saturday. It's to be pulled through the Baltic Sea around the Norwegian coast to a city of 300,000 people, where its reactors are to be loaded with nuclear fuel. Okay. I don't know. Just another one of these things where people are just losing it, and they really lose it. And this is a pretty wild one here. And I'll just read some here. I don't know. Is that a YouTube video they got there? No. All right. So we'll just read this. A doctor in Valdosta is facing felony charges after making violent threats to employees at her medical practice. Dr. Marion Antoinette Patterson turned herself in to the Loudness County Jail on Thursday. In February, Loudness, I don't like seeing that word, loudness. In February, Loudness just doesn't roll off the tongue, Loudness. Lowndes County deputies responded to a disturbance at Patterson's family medical practice on North Valdosta Road. I like Valdosta. That rolls off the tongue. Valdosta. Get over here, Valdosta. I like that. I like Valdosta. Not loudness. Loudness. According to a license suspension order from the Georgia Composite Medical Board on February 21st, Patterson yelled expletives at employees in her office and repeatedly threatened to slit their throats. The order states that she told another employee she was going to cut her from her throat to her private parts. Patterson also allegedly threatened to cut another employee's head off, roll it down a hallway, and call the employee's children so they could see it. I mean, that's going a little far. You know, I understand if you just like come out and just say, oh, I'm going to kill you, or oh, I'm going to slit your throat. I mean, I wouldn't say that, but maybe that slips. But all this other stuff, really? I mean, this is... So she threatens to cut another employee's head off, and she really goes into detail. I'm going to roll it down a hallway. Then after I roll it down the hallway, I'm going to go ahead and call your children so they can come in here and take a look at this. At one point, Patterson grabbed an employee by the arm and refused to allow the employee to leave. Documents state she then threw water on 2 employees, threw various items, including a reflex hammer, and grabbed her diploma off the wall, threw it to the floor, and stomped on it. It is believed that Patterson could have been under the influence, quote unquote, you think, more than once at her practice, according to the order. The board suspended her license on March 5th because her practice poses a threat to the public health, safety, and welfare. And that's her. Man, some people are just losing it. Losing it. Speaking of which, here's another story. You just don't know what to expect. Subway attacks leave strap hangers on edge. I think there's a news story to accompany this. And I wanted to share this because... Pause that for now. I wanted to share this one because just a few weeks ago here on one of the shows we did, there was some footage I showed you guys of some people on a subway. As one guy was walking off, he just turned around and just, beat some other guy down to the ground maliciously. Like, and just beat this guy. It's like they were walking off, straight, normal-looking faces. Suddenly, this one guy turns around without even flinching, punches this other guy in the face, gets him on the ground, and just starts putting fists on him and just beats him to a pulp there on the ground. Then the guy just stands up with a straight face, turns around, and walks off. I told you, people are losing it. I think, as I've been saying for years, it's the lifting of the veil, if you will. It's the separation of the sheep and the goats. What's inside people is manifesting fuller now, I guess you could say. Like on one side, gifts of the Holy Spirit, are really working overtime, I believe, in all kinds of people, all of us that have it, And then on the other side, people who don't have God, they're manifesting violence. They're manifesting reprobate minds, things like this. This is the way I see it. This is the way I see it. So you just don't know what to expect on the subway now. So let's go ahead and watch this one. I think it'll be a safe one to watch. Let's see.
Showing a bearded man arguing with an MTA clerk just before police say he lit several matches and threw them into the booth's money slot and attempted arson. Another image appears to show him making a menacing gesture with his hand, as if pointing a gun.
It is definitely scary.
It happened Wednesday at the Fulton Street station, but for some riders, it is yet another recent example of wild and dangerous behavior in the subways that has left them uncomfortable and nervous.
Scary. Truthfully scary. You just don't know what to expect.
Last Friday, this vicious pit bull attack, the dog attacking a woman after she asked the pit bull's owner to take the animal off the bench next to her.
Just get the dog on me!
Later that night, police say this man in the Make America Great Again hat started fighting with another man before blatantly pushing him onto the tracks at Union Square. Some riders tell me it's just too much to think about.
I can't think about it.
Why?
Because if you think about it, then you'll be afraid to leave your house.
I think that riders are scared and they're frustrated because they don't know what to expect on the train every day.
The NYPD insists reported crime on the subway is actually down 9.5% over last year. Still, many riders are uneasy. Security and safety consultants say they should be proactive about their safety from the moment they get on the train. Be aware of their surroundings and keep their eyes and ears open.
So there's that. There's that, right? I feel compelled to say it too again. I'm no preacher, not even close. I'm just a guy that's got faith, and I'm trying my best to walk the ways I'm supposed to walk, to walk in the ways of Christ. I do the best I can, but, we're all still fallen people. So, but, I don't live in fear. That's one thing. I'm not afraid of anything this world has to offer. I ain't scared of any of this. If I have any fear, it's towards my Heavenly Father, which, fear that, you're not doing right, fear that, that you're misleading somehow. I always pray about that. Like, Lord, please don't ever let me be a stumbling block to people or mislead people in any way or whatever. And this is why I put a lot of thought into all the videos I do and even the shows I do. I don't want to be any stumbling block or anything. So if any kind of fear, that's the kind of fear I have. But other than that, I have no fear of anything in this world. And it's a very fearful time for a lot of people. And I see that in the comments and in messages I get and emails and stuff. Remember, Jesus told us multiple times, fear not, don't be afraid. Read your Bible if you don't know about this stuff. You're not supposed to be walking in fear. You're supposed to have, in fact, we're conquerors. We're conquerors over demons. We're conquerors over the devil himself through Jesus. I believe that, and I live it. I don't, worry about any of this or be afraid. So don't be afraid and cling to Christ, I say, and again, that's just me. That's my faith. It's my show. I'll share it. Okay. I know not everyone's into this, but I believe that's the ultimate remedy for what this world has to offer. And, America is beginning to look a lot more like a communist country. So many things are happening that in America now that we'd never seen before and that we've seen in other countries that have had communist takeovers. And this is one, everybody on the right are being character assassinated or literally being assassinated, and it's being taken out in one way or another. I mean, look at Fox News. They got rid of Bill O'Reilly. They're trying to go after Hannity. They're trying to go after Ingram. Not that I'm even into a lot of these people. I'm just saying, if you really look at it, the right and the left in America, and you look how the left basically controls everything, most forms of media, most everything. And, you see the attacks. I mean, look at the late night talk show people. I can't even stomach any of these people in America. I can't stand them. But every single night, even if it wasn't Trump, it was some other Republican guy in there. It would every night. That's what they do, is take hard pot shots at these people, hard shots. Soft kid gloves they used on Obama, of course. But, and again, I know that's the left-right paradigm thing, and I don't include myself in that kind of thought anymore. But still, you have to call it as you see it, and it is what it is. And there are good-hearted, good people, I believe, that are on the right, that are working for good and working for God and know God. And there are some out there, I'm sure there might be some on the left, maybe, perhaps, maybe. But but definitely, I know there's some on the right, I don't vote, I'm still not into this, but I'm just seeing things like this now. And this is what all the other communist countries did, the leftist takeovers. They had to get rid of the right. So we've seen that here in America now, and they're standing up and taking notice. Alabama Rep. Mo Brooks suggested in a radio interview that Republicans are retiring en masse because of assassination fears. He was speaking on the Dale Jackson show about the first Republican practice the congressional baseball game after last year's shooting the left majority whip Steve Scalise severely injured. We have multiple rings of security, plainclothes, uniform, Capitol Police, other police, he said. There is a medical vehicle nearby just in case there was a copycat. But Brooks said while there were multiple factors that contributed to a slew of Republicans leaving the House, he suggested fears of violence was a major one. One of the things that's concerning me is the assassination risk may become a factor, he said. Brooks referred to the fact that many members of the Republican baseball team are retiring, including all these people. Says you have to wonder, with that kind of disproportionate retirement number, whether what happened in June played a factor. All right. He also said that socialist Bernie Sanders' wing of society was pushing for a revolution that would lead to Maoist level of violence. There are a growing number of leftists who believe the way to resolve this is not at the ballot box, but through threats and sometimes through violence and assassinations. That is absolutely true. Absolutely true. But you never, ever see that played out in the mainstream narrative. Ever. Ever. They always excuse their behavior. They think the only people that are violent are, rednecks with guns and stuff like this. But that's, again, part of that narrative, that mind control. And this is just, I mean, I want to use the word, but it's not a very nice word. And I know some young people watch this, so I guess I won't say it. Maybe I could spell it out. Maybe I can spell it out. We're becoming a PUSSY nation. We have been for a long time, and it's being forced on us. That's the problem. This didn't just naturally evolve. It's being forced on us. And I see dumb stuff like this, and it's just so annoying. Anyway, there's this Pan-Asian eatery. It's called Yellow Fever. And they're facing backlash now over their name after a new location opened up inside Whole Foods. God forbid. God forbid. Whole Foods is basically a church for a lot of leftists, really. And they opened up this Yellow Fever there. And, let's just read along here. The proprietors of a small Southland chain of Pan-Asian restaurants facing a backlash over the opening of their newest location, Eatery Yellow Fever, which has its motto, Asian Bowls for Your Soul, opened its latest locale Wednesday at the new Whole Foods in Long Beach. And the name rubbed some shoppers the wrong way. I was shocked. I find it offensive, Brennings told CBS 2 News, adding the name is basically suggesting that a sexual connotation towards Asians. See, I never even saw that, man. I didn't even think that. When I first was reading this story, when I saw Yellow Fever, I was thinking fever for Asian food, perhaps. I mean, I can see where the yellow, they may say, because, that's like the old, we see that in a lot of old animations. Anytime there's an Asian person, they're yellow. They're painted yellow. I understand that, but I mean, if the owners are Asian and they named this and they're good with it, then I'm fine with it too. Who cares? But so Yellow Fever, my first thought was it's like fever for Asian food, whatever place in Asia this is from, I don't know, but fever for some kind of Asian food. Okay, I get it. I get the fever for some Chinese food sometimes. And, I even get a little bit of the fever for the flavor of a Pringles from time to time. So I can understand that. But people are taking this to the sexual thing. It's a sexual connotation towards Asians, which I guess they're linking that with Jungle Fever. That was a Spike Lee movie a long time ago, Jungle Fever. And it's the idea that people that aren't black have a fever, for people that are. In that case, it was white women, for the most part, I think, having a jungle fever, like they really want to be with these black dudes. I mean, fine, fair enough, And even if that's what they were saying, who cares? I don't know. I just, you choose your battles, I guess. This isn't one I would choose. But so that's the deal. You got a bunch of people running around getting upset over the name of this. The owner says, we've been in business for 4.5 years. Any backlash or negativity has been almost none. Almost all the people I work with would probably think it was funny and wouldn't really have a problem with it, yet I know some people might be sensitive to it and find it offensive. Dear Lord. Dear Lord. Guys, I could show you things in this world that would really, really offend you. I'm talking to the people that would be offended by Yellow Fever. Or would it? I don't know. Some people maybe are just so trapped in the matrix that it's little things like this that really upset them, but they don't care about, innocent people in Syria dying, let's say. Big issues, right? None of that really matters because it's all on TV. But they better not be putting a Yellow Fever restaurant in my neighborhood. I won't stand for that. You got to stand for something or you fall for anything. If you were to die tonight, preacher causes panic in the theater. Okay, I think I can play this one. I think this is a clip. We'll watch it together. You guys still with me? When I'm doing these, I can never look at the chat. So I'm guessing you guys are still watching. So thanks for being here. Let's go ahead and watch this one. This is interesting to me.
theater in Redlands. Someone started shouting and ranting during a screening of The Avengers.
A lot of people, we're told, began panicking. They tried to get out of the theater, and some were injured. KCAL9's Tina Patel is live in Redlands right now with further details. Tina?
Well, you know, that shooting at a theater in Colorado was not too long ago, and moviegoers tell us that was in the back of their minds when this man got up. Even though they didn't see a gun, they wanted to escape. Armed officers rushed to a Redlands movie theater, fearing that a gunman might be inside. Susie and Adrian Arias say the newest Avengers movie had just finished when a man stood up and started yelling. They say it sounded like he was preaching.
I think when he said, if you were to die tonight, would your passage to heaven be guaranteed? Something along those lines. And I think that's when people started panicking.
They were able to walk out, but say people behind them started running and pushing.
And that's when the kind of chaos happened in the little exit where people were jumping over the railings and kind of falling over, twisting their ankles and hitting their head.
You can see a man limping out of the theater. Police say a woman hit her head and had to be hospitalized.
I thought she had fainted, passed out, completely passed out. Someone was dragging her out because people were starting to fall over her.
We reached out to 28-year-old Michael Weber with Truth and Triumph Ministries. He says he's preached in movie theaters before, and there's never been a problem.
Last night was an anomaly. The lights did not turn up for quite a few minutes, and so I really couldn't see anyone's reaction except those of the people just right around me.
And he says he didn't know that everyone couldn't see he had his hands up, showing he didn't have a weapon.
It's extremely unfortunate that anyone has sustained injury because of this. Again, I was unarmed.
Susie says she wasn't sure at the time, and she didn't want to take any chances given what's happened in recent years around the world.
And I think that's why people reacted. They just felt like we had to get out, no matter what the cost.
She hopes Web.
So what are your thoughts on that? What do you think about that? I got a lot of thoughts on it. My first thought is bad idea. Very bad idea. Especially considering all the crazy things, you know, that are happening in public places now. I mean, you never know, you know? So to stand up just as the credits for this movie start, and if you were to die tonight, would you find yourself in heaven? I mean, did that help anybody? Did it convert anyone? If anything, it irritated people, and and it looks like it caused a real scare here. I'm not the type. I'm just not the type that would ever want to go out and be evangelizing and stuff. It's just not the way. I do my thing the way I do it. And no offense to those who do. I mean, there's a place for all kinds of teachers and I guess prophets and all kinds of there's all kinds of people out there, branches of this tree. And we're all trying to do our own thing and try to help and reach humanity. Get the message out. I understand, but I think that's a bad idea to do it like in a theater like that. I don't know. That's just me. I wasn't there. I don't know exactly how he said it, but I don't know, man. Something about it, I am glad to find that it really was like a minister, and it wasn't just like some kids trying to be jerks, to do that to like a false flag, against Christians or something. I mean, you never know, but anyway, I don't know. That's what I think about that. But as for Avengers, I saw it this weekend, the movie, and just before the show started, I was in chat for a little bit, and I saw somebody put a message up there and said, you really got to check out the Avengers. There's a lot of New World Order messages in it, and there really are. The thing is, so as far as Illuminati symbols or satanic imagery and symbols and subliminals and stuff, I didn't really see any of that in the Avengers at all. Like, I didn't see, except for the obvious. I mean, Doctor Strange has an all-seeing eye that gives him power. I mean, there's some of this stuff that's just obvious, but I mean, nothing else I saw kind of coded or hidden. They were pretty upfront with it, but the biggest part of it that stood out for me is it's Thanos is the main bad guy. And he's trying to get these different, jewels or whatever for this, like, I don't know, whatchamacallit, some kind of a glove or something he's got. But anyway, and it's going to give him full power over everything. And once he gets, this like full power, he wants to wipe out half of humanity all around everywhere. every planet. He wants to kill like half of everybody on the planet. And that's his thing, and it goes into his philosophy on why, and the rest who remain were the ones that were chosen, and they can rebuild and be prosperous, and all this stuff. And that's such a New World Order idea. It's like, this is the New World Order. That's what Thanos is. Even the Georgia Guidestone's talking about maintaining humanity at a certain level, and all this stuff with Mother Gaia, Mother Earth worship, Agenda 2030. How humans are the problem. It's what they're trying to tell us. We're the problem. So, there shouldn't be as many of us, right? But anyway, I'm rambling. This is happening a few times now. Trump Tower is on fire in Azerbaijan, capital Baku, just weeks after deadly blaze at building in New York. That's interesting, huh? And I just wonder, there's some imagery. Trump's towers are on fire. Is this symbolic somehow? Symbolic of, destruction to come? It's the way I read this stuff, but that's just me. This is really interesting, too. Kim Jong-un in North Korea prepared to cede nuclear weapons if U.S. pledges not to invade. If you guys don't come over here and get us, then we'll be good and get rid of our nuclear weapons. So, and at the same time, North and South Korea recently had a meeting right here. So they're saying there's peace now between North and South Korea. And, the Bible tells us about when they start saying peace and security, right? Or peace and safety, that destruction comes soon after. So that's kind of the way I read that. I've shown you guys in a video I did recently a crazy mural they have in North Korea of, it looks like, if not New York, it looks a lot like it, but it's a city by the sea being wiped out by a massive tsunami. So a lot of people are having dreams and visions of that. It's on St. John's pillars. It's on the $100 bill. Inside the Soho house of sex clubs, how a former Jehovah's Witness is running an exclusive New York swingers party that is only open to hot millennials. None of you scrubs. We don't want no scrubs up in here. This is only for the hot ones. We want the hot millennials with the social media presence. A man who grew up as a practicing Jehovah's Witness is now running an exclusive New York sex clubs for, quote, hot. Just the hot ones, folks. Sorry, you can't get in. A New York sex club for hot, the hot ones, millennials. Daniel Saint, S-A-Y-N-T, I see what you did there. 35 is the founder of the NSFW, New Society for Wellness Sex Club, a members-only group that hosts parties and events at townhouses in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Wow. When I lived in New York, that's where I lived, is Williamsburg, Brooklyn. It was many moons ago. It was right after college. Anyway, there were no sex clubs when I was there, at least none that I found. The average age of a NSFW member is 28 years old, and they each go through a careful selection process that takes into account how attractive they are, their social media presence, and any fantasies they might have. Among the 700 people that currently have memberships to the private club are models, actors, celebrities, and entrepreneurs. This sounds great, right? Just kidding. Members pay a fee of $96 to join the club, and then each exclusive sex party they attend can cost up to $150. There are currently about 300 people on the wait list to become members, and a whopping 9,000 have already been rejected. They weren't hot enough. It's like the Soho House of Sex. We look for people with a story to share. If you can't share a conversation with someone, you can't share a bed. If a guy applies and says, I just want to have sex with as many girls as possible, that's not someone we want here. Saint, who is bisexual, no surprise, a reprobate, and lives with his boyfriend in West Village, started the club back in 2015 while he was still working as the head of a digital marketing agency he started with his now ex-wife. He has a career background in luxury fashion. That's the pictures, I guess, from the place. Look at that symbolism there. I may have to open these pictures up and look sometime. Maybe I'll find a video in here somewhere. Because it looks like they got butterflies all over the wall. So they got a lot of butterflies. Monarch, right? Mind control. A lot of butterflies. X is Saturn, but it looks like they used that to tie somebody up. That symbol there I'm looking at. I'm not sure what it is from here, but Saint of the Bronx was raised in a Jehovah's Witness household, and his parents had no idea about his sex club business until reading an article about him earlier this year. He said he went to church every Sunday, went to Bible study for 10 hours a week, and would door knock every morning before school. Saint said he had his first sexual experience with a boy when he was, I don't care. So anyway, that's what's up. That's what's going on. You got to be hot to enter. We don't want no scrubs around here. No averages, no average people, no normies. Did Jane Mansfield die in a car crash because of a satanic curse? New film investigates scandalous life and dramatic death of original 1950s blonde bombshell. Jane Mansfield courted gossip and wacky scandal to such an extent that even 50 years later, it's difficult to tell fact from rumor. That's why a new documentary about the years before her gruesome death can get away with embracing the craziest theory of all, that she was killed by a satanic curse. I don't think that's crazy. Mansfield 6667 by David Ebersole and Todd Hugh goes so far as to play on its title in the opening credits to make it resemble the 666 while Demonic Rock plays. So they're mocking this stuff. But she really was involved with Satanists. The original Hollywood blonde bombshell Mansfield was hired by studios like Warner Brothers and 20th Century Fox to be the next Marilyn Monroe. She most famously starred in The Girl Can't Help It in the late 1950s heyday and later in Promises. Mansfield was also a magnet for trashy gossip magazines, which she exploited to heighten her profile. Interesting. Okay, here we go. I was looking for this. Mansfield met Anton LaVey, real name Howard Levy, the self-styled head of the Church of Satan, during a drug-fueled trip to San Francisco. The Black Pope painted his row house jet black and always wore demonic costumes and had a pet lion and a home full of topless women. What a little creep. Looks like a little creep, doesn't he? A little creep. The pair were not shy about letting the tabloids know they were lovers, and Brody was soon so displeased he challenged LaVey. In response, LaVey was said to have put a curse on Brody, saying he would die in a car crash. Brody and Mansfield survived no less than 6 car accidents before the fateful night of June 28, 1967. Their Buick smashed into the back of a trailer that was obscured by a cloud of insecticide dust from the truck hauling it. The car went under the trailer, shearing the roof clean off and killing Mansfield, Brody, and their driver. Dancing with the devil, right? You don't dance with the devil. Police shoot knife-wielding mother 28 after she stabbed 2 officers when they tried to help her injured 2-year-old who later died in the hospital. Here's another one of those stories. I covered one of these last week where all the kids cut their wrists, like 12 kids cut their wrists in a school, and they never, ever even touched on why or what may have prompted this. And here's another one. That's why I always wonder what they're covering up. A New York mother was shot by police after she stabbed 2 officers who tried to help her injured 2-year-old daughter. The attack took place in Mamaroneck, New York, on Saturday after police responded to a call about a woman screaming. When officers arrived on the scene around 1:30 p.m., they found the 2-year-old girl injured inside the home in need of medical attention, but when they tried to help her, the mother, 28, charged at them with a knife in hand. Upon entering the home, officers asked the mother to show her hands as they called an ambulance and tried to help the kid. Instead of complying, the mother attacked and stabbed 2 officers with the knife. They responded by using a taser and opening fire, and here's the part that was pretty crazy down here. The female then attacked the officers with a knife, injuring 2 of them, but tasers were deployed, which failed to stop the female. The female was then shot by one of the officers. And we've seen that before in a lot of these cases of what I think are possession, and the media calls it K2 or Flocka. You'll have somebody out of their mind, naked a lot of the time, growling like a monster or an animal, and the cops can't put them down with tasers. They can't hold 2 or 3 of them, can't hold them down, and usually they got to shoot them. So after the mother was shot and the child was taken to the hospital, the mother is still, the toddler later died, which is sad. So the mother is still receiving care, so she survived. Police say the nature of her injuries is unknown. Cause of little girl's death is pending. Anyway, it's not clear while she was holding a knife. There were several officers running with assault rifles. They heard a woman screaming, and now they have several officers running with assault rifles. I don't know. Anyway, people are losing it. The new robots that will replace babysitters, surgeons, and pets this year. So here's 7. They did a list of 7 of these. One of them's a perfect pet. A headless furry bot to calm your nerves. Look at that. It's a pillow with a tail. Supposed to be a therapy bot. Seriously, how inhuman is this? Just get a cat. They work great. They don't need batteries. Babysitter bot. If I was a little kid, I wouldn't want that thing rolling in my room and checking on me at night. But anyway, I guess that's going to be one of the new babysitters. It's a babysitter bot. Putting the bot into bottom. Okay, I'm not sure what this is. Fancy a caterpillar up your bum? No thanks. Well, this is the future of medicine coming to a hospital near you. A robot creeping into your colon. It sounds nefarious. It's actually for the greater good, so they say. For colonoscopies and stuff like that, I guess. Okay. So this is some kind of a penguin. Chloe, C-L-O-I. May look like a toy, but she's aimed at being Alexa's smart sister. She will recognize each family member and interact with all the smart tech in your home. There are even waiters, porters, and shopper concept versions. So instead of just a box you talk to, well, I guess they're just basically upgrading Alexa, but that's creepy, man, still. All this everyone's being literally connected into this matrix of all these smart TVs and smart thermometers and smart this and smart microwaves and fake cats, and it's weird. So there's another one. Looks like it's a little Chinese robot. Can help your child to read. Okay. Simroid, she's, but then the poor woman isn't designed to be tortured. Okay. What is this? Simroid is not a very cuddly name, but then the poor woman has been designed to be tortured by practicing dental surgeons. She spends her entire life in the dentist chair, following orders and making realistic facial expressions. Oh, okay. So it's just something for dentists to work on, an android or whatever. Robot. Synthoid. There's a space age Simon Says. Just a few of those I wanted to share with you. And another one, mind control technology, which could turn humans into mindless cyborg super consumers, is successfully tested on rats. How's that sound to you? A team working at the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology have discovered that stimulating a certain part of a mouse's brain triggers a craving for unnecessary objects. So while the researchers hailed this discovery as a way of treating brain disorders such as kleptomania and compulsive hoarding, they also admitted it could be used to control human behavior. What could go wrong? When we stimulate a neuron in the hypothalamus of mice, they anxiously chased target objects. We found evidence that the neural circuits in the medial preoptic area modulate object craving, the appetite for possessing objects. Check that one out for yourself. This will probably show up in one of my videos. Hi, Chubbs. Thanks for joining us. Just sharing the headline, but there's a lot of this going on lately. A lot of it's a trend. It's been going on now for a few years, but people using vehicles to kill mass groups of people. There have been a lot of these cases, and it's just another one right here outside of a nightclub. But a lot of these stories of people in vehicles running crowds over. And then you got stuff like this. Like I told you, America is quickly becoming a PUSSY nation. And you see stuff like this. University of Texas to treat masculinity as a mental health issue. What could go wrong? Unbelievable. A few things I just want to share with you here. It's a good little article. During a serious threat or disaster, all of your prepping and preparedness will come into play. 9 items you'll need to survive the first 72 hours of a crisis. So here's just a few I wanted to share with you. I thought these guys did a good job here. Radio, cell phone, vehicles, clothing, first aid kit, water and food, alternate heating, flashlights, candles, and of course, protection or guns. And if you want to read that further, it's on preppersgrab.com. And here's the article. It was just put up today, so you could check that out. Good basic info to know for everybody. So here's one of the stories I was telling you about at the beginning that I really was excited about seeing. It's just another confirmation, really, of a video I just did called There's Something Really Weird Happening in the Sky. And the first footage you see in that video is of, it looks like some kind of a black spirit or something, an enormous one, floating up in the sky. Like it comes up through the clouds, stops, does a 90-degree turn, and then it starts flying kind of alongside this airliner. It's really crazy. And as it flies, the longer it goes, it's slowly dissipating and just falls apart. I thought it was interesting. And to me, just another example, again, of the veil lifting. I've said this for years. Guys, we're going to see more paranormal and supernatural stuff in the next few years. It's going to get crazier. And we're seeing it. I'm not the only one that's been saying, I would never be on. I told you guys, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, a lot of us saw this stuff coming for years. And now here it is. So anyway, woman films strange black object through the sky middle of flight. As her sister insists, she also encountered a low-flying ship, I guess over a year ago. But so there's the footage. Let's see if I can't bring this up a little here. And do that. It's the exact same thing, man, from that other footage. Or maybe not the exact same one, but another example of that. Look at that. So there was that one, and few images of it. Let's see.
So what they're saying is that
I don't know what to put in to find that footage. I tried. But anyway, if you go watch my video, my newest one, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. The first bit of footage was a very similar anomaly as what you just saw. I mean, it's the same thing. So there's something really weird is happening in the sky. I don't know if I can play this. Let me see. We'll just read some. A video showing a group of men laughing. Wait, it's down here. The president of Syracuse University permanently expelled one fraternity and promised a top-to-bottom review of the Greek system across the sprawling campus after a video of crude, racist sketch performed by fraternity members went viral. The president announced the expulsion Saturday, just days after school officials first viewed what he described as a racist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, albiest, and sexist video featuring heated Tau members. He said disciplinary charges against students involved in the video could be recommended within days. Let's see here. Explain any of it. The video shows members of Theta Tau wearing hatred in my heart for blacks, Italians, and Jews. Or swearing, sorry. The video shows new members of Theta Tau swearing hatred in my heart for blacks, Italians, and Jews, using disparaging terms for each. The video is laced with crude sexual humor, and a second video shows fraternity members mimicking sexual assault on a disabled person. I was never into this stuff. I went to college. I never wanted to be a part of a fraternity. I didn't think we had fraternities, though. Mine was like a film school, but I wouldn't have been in a fraternity. I never got this. It's like preparing you for the, later on in your life, the upper echelons of Masonry and other secret societies. It's the way I see stuff like this, where you'll always have your brother's back, no matter what, because y'all know each other's dirtiest, darkest secrets. Anyway, gross. Have you heard about this one? And they call it dark sky. The dark sky exercise. Dun, dun, dun. The dark sky exercise is slated for May 15th through 17th at sites all across the state, which is Wisconsin. And it's a full-scale training exercise simulating a long-term mass power outage. So I just wanted to share that one of those is coming up. Not to freak out, what are they doing it for? Is something happening on the 15th? I don't know. I don't worry about these things, but it's always interesting just to see things like this coming out. Are they preparing for something? Maybe they do know about something. Maybe they don't. But dark sky exercise is interesting to me. Elon Musk says he's building a cyborg dragon. I think it's kind of maybe a bit of a joke. But still what I'm finding is there's a trend where there's a lot of talk of dragons again here lately too. Just throwing that out there. I think there's some more stories coming up. So Elon Musk says he's building a cyborg dragon, the beast. He's going to build a beast. They're going to build a better beast. And that was a Trump Tower we saw already. Genealogy site traps alleged Golden State Killer, how your DNA could be used against you. Whoa. Maybe one of my first What Happened shows, we talked about this, where it was talking about how the police now are working with these genealogy sites. And that was a few months back. Hey. No. Come here. Get over here. Come on. Sorry, guys. Chubbs is being a jerk. Anytime I'm talking and I'm not paying attention to him, he has to start acting out. He needs some attention. And I don't want to lock him up in kiddie prison. He's done a lot of time. I'll tell you, he's done a good stretch. So I'm going to try to just let him be free and see if we can't meet each other in the middle on this one. Anyway, the genealogy site thing. We talked about that a few months ago, how the police are going to be working with these genealogy sites. And I've never done one. I never would. I always laugh when I see that on TV. Hey, why don't you send us your DNA? Come on, yeah. Don't you want to know where you're from? You know, me, I'm adopted, and I don't care to know the people that had me. I got really blessed with a great mom and dad, you know. Never cared to know. But that's just me. I'm sure there's curiosity in all kinds of people, and those companies do good business for a reason, because a lot of people are doing this. I just would say be careful. I mean, and I know you're not all killers and monsters and doing evil things, but still, it's the idea of any government agencies or police force having control over your DNA. It scares me. You know, I don't like it. You know, just something about that. There's Uranus smells like farts, but bump. We got it. We get the joke. We see.
One of the Waxhaw team accused of leading South.
Let's watch this one, man. Here's another one where people are losing it. Check this out.
Carolina troopers on this high-speed chase that ended with a serious crash. You can see this dust and the debris there. There's a very bizarre reaction, though, from the suspect. Listen.
It's all fake! It's all fake! It's all fake!
Troopers in Fairfield County just released the surveillance video from this chase last month. They say that Carter Kendall was clocked going 106 miles per hour on I-77 before flipping his truck there. Now, once troopers pulled Kendall out of the wreckage, you could hear he started beginning screaming, "It's all fake, this isn't real." And now listen to what he said when they put him in handcuffs.
My Jesus! My Jesus for hurting me!
Kendall was taken to the hospital for injuries suffered in that crash. He was later charged with DUI and failure to stop for police.
So, what do you think about that? Again, I kind of chuckled a bit the first time I saw that footage, because he's like, "It's all fake. Everything's fake. Nothing's real." And I was like, I bet this guy's got a YouTube channel, and I bet you he's trolled me a few times. I don't know if he's trolled me, but you know, a lot of us get these messages. Nothing's real. It's all an illusion. You know, I mean, and you get people just flipping out, you know, and not to make light of it, because if that is the case with that young man, then I feel bad about that. That if he's one of these people that's just watching, I don't know, way too much crazy stuff. You know, maybe he's gone too deep into the rabbit hole and he can't find his way out. You know, perhaps, I don't know, but maybe he's one of these people that's been affected by this, you know, fake news reality and everything going crazy, right? Like, nothing's real. It's all an illusion. I am Jesus. I am Jesus. You know, I mean, people are losing it. You know, people are losing it. We're talking about dragons a little bit ago. Here's this one. Kanye West proclaims his love for Trump. We're both dragon energy, and we know, you know, there's another meaning. I'm not saying Kanye was meaning in that context. I'm not saying he wasn't. But again, the beast, the dragon energy. Everything in the future, or everything is smart in the future, even the freaking walls. Another one you can check out. This is from futurism.com, smart walls. If you want to read this, it was interesting. Because they're literally wanting to connect everything. This is going to be, you know, houses, offices, restaurants, schools, museums, walls. They want all walls on all everything to be, quote, smart, and to connect you with all of the other technology in your home. Just a goofy one I wanted to share here real quick. I'm not sure what this guy was doing, like in this area, to get in this situation, but you know, just a goofy one, a little painful, but I thought it might be kind of nice to share. This guy got himself into a really bad situation right here. If I can get it to play. Looks like he doesn't want to play. The picture alone, I think you get the idea. That's a crab down there. I can't get it to play. All right. Well, the crab hooked onto one of his, you know, a bit of his private parts there, and wasn't going to let go. So somebody shared that with me sometime this week. I don't know why I was fascinated with it. Maybe just because every now and then, you know, we like to see these crazy situations. I'm not sure, but I thought I would share. I wanted to share, but it's not going to let me play. So, but I think you get the gist. Ex-Facebook executive, you don't realize it, but you're being programmed. Several months ago, one of the early pioneers of Facebook and its first president, Sean Parker, voiced his regret regarding helping create social media in the form we know it today, saying, I don't know if I really understood the consequences of what I was saying because of the unintended consequences of a network when it grows to 1 billion or 2 billion people and it literally changes your relationship with society and with each other. God only knows what it's doing to our children's brains. Parker says a social networking site exploits human psychological vulnerabilities through a validation feedback loop that gets people to constantly post to get even more likes and comments. It's exactly the kind of thing that a hacker like myself would come up with because you're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology, he said. So, yeah, there's that. This is going into a new video. Scientists just discovered a strange new DNA shape lurking in human cells. There have been a lot of talk lately about our DNA. Not just these DNA things looking for your DNA, but how our DNA is changing. So it's just something I wanted to share with you there. This is on Popular Science or popsci.com, new DNA shape, if you want to learn a little bit more about this. But it'll be coming up in a future video. Another one, man, mother 31 who was arrested after setting her car on fire with her 3 daughters inside, shouting, "We're going to see Jesus," before bystanders intervened. So you got people losing it, and it's oftentimes associated with or connected with Jesus, right? Or God, Bible, devil. And that obviously Jesus or God have nothing to do with this situation. So it just makes me wonder if these aren't more examples of that bad spiritual manifestation that's happening everywhere. You know, these things are loose. They're causing people to do bad things. Speaking of people that do bad things, remember this guy? He wasn't even there. He wasn't even at that park land. Anyway, this guy is going to go to the prom with this guy. And, you know, again, I share that just because it's not to knock on any of our people out there listening and watching that may be gay or bi or whatever, you know, anywhere on that spectrum, I guess, LGBTQP, whatever, you know, and all that. Because, you know, I know that, you know, Jesus loves us all, hates the sin, loves the sinner. But it's all about repentance as well. And also being aware that, you know, that it is a reprobate mind. You know, if you look this up in the Bible, I didn't write it. I didn't put it in there. But look up reprobate mind. And that's what, you know, that's how these kinds of behaviors are described. These kinds of people having a reprobate mind and being turned over to all kinds of bad things. So just putting that out there. And this one, I really, really don't want to have to pay. But let's see if we can't do this. What, bud? No, that's old. Well, it's from March 1st, 2018, so it's fairly recent, but Putin describes Russian doomsday nuclear weapon March 1st. And then just 6 days ago, get this. There we go. You can see it for a second. Putin's nuclear doomsday machine could trigger 300-foot tsunamis. Physicists wonder why you'd ever build one. And that just goes back to the whole thing with, again, tsunamis, New York, nukes. We see that trending in a lot of interesting places. Another of these right here, Toronto van driver kills at least 10 people in pure carnage. People just losing it, using vehicles to run over people. Christians blast GQ magazine for calling the Bible foolish, unnecessary reading. There's a piece in GQ titled 21 Books You Don't Have to Read. It's written by GQ editors and various other writers selecting great books they claim have not aged well. And apparently they threw the Bible under the bus on that one. But again, no surprise, right? No surprise. Childhood obesity is getting worse. Just putting that out there. That's an older one, but March 13th. But I think I may have put that up there for one of my videos too. Anyway, still good to know. Amazon has a top secret plan to build home robots. Again, that post-human existence. As the robots become smarter and our gadgets become smarter, we become more like robots, right? And now there's this, the California pro-homosexual bill that will ban the Bible. Been a lot of talk about this. California has a Democratic supermajority in both houses of the state legislature, and all of its statewide offices are held by Democrats. Okay, I get it. Here we go. California Assembly has passed a new bill, Assembly Bill 2943, which will ban the sale of the Bible. The sale of the Bible is about to be made illegal in the state of California, and the vote wasn't even close. The bill passed 50 to 18. Heads to the Senate next, where it will certainly be approved, and then to Governor Jerry Brown's desk, who he would definitely sign off on that. This bill would make it illegal to engage in, quote, a transaction intended to result or that results in the sale or lease of goods or services to any consumer that advertise, offer to engage in, or do engage in sexual orientation change efforts with an individual. So you can see where the Bible falls right into that. So there you go. All right. It's that beast system at work. And then more of the YouTube stuff. Fiction's outperforming reality, how YouTube's algorithm distorts truth. What they're saying here, an ex-YouTube insider reveals how its recommendation algorithm promotes divisive clips and conspiracy videos. Did they harm Hillary Clinton's bid for the presidency? Who cares? Hopefully they did. But anyway, just more of this stuff about YouTube and all that good stuff. And they just hate this. They hate that people are wanting to see those, quote, conspiracy videos, right? There you go. So there's my stories. I think that's it. Let me jump over here to the chat room for a bit, say hi to you guys and see how it's going. And let me turn my volume off there. Hey guys, how you doing? I hope you're doing good. Hope you can hear me okay. Can you hear me? Have you been able to hear me throughout this whole thing? Anybody? Just checking. I want to make sure everything's going good. Anybody? A slight delay here. Just want to say hi and bye. How we do there? Hey, up north of the 49th. Good to see you. Even though you're here, I haven't seen you in a long time. All right, guys. Anybody? Can you hear me? I'm beginning to get a little concerned. If you can tell me in the chat room if you can hear me, that'd be great. Just let me know in the chat room that you can hear me, and that'd be fantastic. Anybody? Anybody? All right. Well, I guess maybe there's just a huge delay on this thing. I'm not sure, but I'm not seeing anybody say they can hear me. But I'll just go ahead and end the show there, man. Guys, thank you once again for being here. I appreciate you. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate you showing up. Big, huge thank you to my Patreons out there, those of you who support my shows, my videos, and my website on Patreon. Thank you so much. Thank you to Silver Botanicals, my sponsor. Check out silverbotanicals.com. You can replace common, dangerous household products with something safe and natural. You get a discount if you use capital KJO 2018. And that's it, man. Guys, I appreciate you. Once again, I'm seeing that you guys can hear me. So there's a huge delay on this. But I'll go ahead and do a catching up show this week. I'd like to do one where we can just kind of hang out and talk a little bit. This chat just goes crazy, man. There's so many. So anyway, guys, thanks again. I love you, man. God bless you. You guys take care of yourselves. And I'll be back next Sunday with another show. Got more videos coming this week. And if you haven't been to my website, go check out whoiskjosborne.com. I've always got different videos there than I do on YouTube. All right. Bye-bye.